I am Special Agent Dana Scully, covering the Kentucky incident starting on the eve of July 8, 1993, when my partner, Special Agent Mulder, and I were deployed to investigate a possible supernatural phenomenon in Louisville, Kentucky. We were deployed to a town called West Point, just south of Louisville, arriving in the evening of July 8th. The only reports we had received were that of incidents of cannibalism and possible mass psychosis. Mulder and I commandeered an empty domicile on the north edge of town with the intention to drive to Louisville the following morning. I was attempting to watch the local news for any additional clues about what might be taking place here in Kentucky while Mulder slept. All of a sudden, I heard a very loud crash coming from the kitchen, and Mulder bolted towards me. He yelled at me to jump out the window as he covered my escape. It became immediately evident that whatever incident had occurred in Louisville had found its way to our doorstep, and without our radios and service weapons that were back in the house, we were immediately overrun by the affected local population. I staggered through the thick morning fog, hoping to find a way back to the vehicle and for Agent Mulder to emerge from the overrun house. Finally joined by Mulder, we were still hoping to make it back to our abandoned service weapon, car keys, and radios, but it became abundantly clear that if we stayed, we would die. The next few hours, Mulder and I wandered along the North River that leads into Louisville in hopes to find shelter and medical supplies, as Mulder had sustained some scratches trying to escape the horde. Normally, I'm highly skeptical of the paranormal, always chiding Mulder for his desire to believe in fantasy. But the more we had to fight, the further it became clear to me that whoever these people used to be, they no longer had humanity. They were shambling, biting, and deeply deranged, with a complete disregard for self-preservation. After hours of adrenaline-fueled panic, we had an hour or so to collect ourselves. I assessed the severity of Mulder's wounds and hoped that if the affliction was transmissible, that Mulder was lucky enough to have avoided infection. The evidence that cemented my speculation that this incident was fundamentally paranormal is when we would fight the affected, who were clearly mortally wounded, but were no longer bleeding, not exhibiting signs of pain or distress, and by all rights should be dead. The only surefire method to stopping these things was destroying the brainstem. After surviving onslaughts of the undead, Mulder and I managed to wander back to signs of civilization. The first building we found was a gun and ammo store, but unfortunately for us, it was also securely locked up. Without food and water, we would not have the energy to survive. We knew we had to hydrate and eat, but the suburban areas were crawling with the undead. At long last, we found ourselves at a bar and risked entering it to find provisions. We knew that drinking the tap water carried a risk if the infection was waterborne, but with how ubiquitously the infection seemed to have spread, we calculated the risk was lower than if we dehydrated ourselves. Traveling on foot was dangerous and tiresome. We knew if we wanted to survive, we had to commandeer a vehicle. Despite being in a place that felt like people would keep their car keys in the glove box, we weren't having a lot of luck managing to commandeer a ride. Initially, I had misgivings about defending myself with such lethal force, but having spent the entire day fending for our lives, any hesitation we had felt was gone by now. It was starting to get dark. Mulder and I knew if we did not find adequate shelter, we'd not live to see tomorrow morning. Fortunately, we happened upon a self-storage facility that might just be secure enough for safe lodging. We did our best to clear out the immediate area without alerting additional shamblers. We were exhausted, and Mulder was wounded, but we knew our best hope was to muster what little strength we had left to make the storage yard as safe as possible. With waning daylight, Mulder and I ventured to an adjacent factory to scavenge anything we could. After finding very little in the way of useful tools, we returned to the cleared storage facility to try to rest as best we could. Thank you for tuning in to the first chapter of the Kentucky incident. This footage was originally streamed live on Trusten's Twitch channel, and he was the player controlling Fox Mulder. If you would like to see Trusten's gameplay footage and his point of view, a link to his channel may be found in the description of this video. He streams Project Zomboid on Twitch with me every Wednesday, and a link to his Twitch channel can be found in the description of the video as well. Please check him out, you won't be disappointed. More episodes are coming soon. Check Rhadamant.com for the schedule. Thank you all for supporting both of us as creators. We hope you tune in again soon.